Okay, guys, we are now in Isaiah 36, and it is titled Sennacherib Boasts Against the Lord. Now, you know what we've been reading up to this point. It's all been a lot of explanation and a lot of extra detail towards the tribulation and the millennial reign. And it's funny that over half this book started that way. We're over halfway through this book now, and that's all we've been talking about. But now we have a direct interaction, and it involves a few people. Now we're going to get to see, because Isaiah. I mean, at the beginning of this, Isaiah walked around for 3 years naked as a testimony, and the Lord was pointing that out. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on. There's been a lot of time that has passed here. It's going to be interesting to see, after all that he has said, what's going to happen here. I imagine everything before this might have been what he was saying over that 3 years. I don't know, but let's see what he has to say now, because we have some people that are going to get involved in some of this now, and it should be pretty interesting to see what they're going to have to say. Now it came to pass in the 14th year of King Hezekiah that Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came up against all the fortified cities of Judah and took them. Then the king of Assyria sent the Rabshakeh with a great army from Lachish to King Hezekiah at Jerusalem. And he stood by the aqueduct from the upper pool on the highway to the fuller's field. I'm not sure. I think that upper pool was the upper pool of Bethesda. There was an upper and a lower pool. It was the lower one where everybody was hanging out when Jesus healed that one guy, I think. And Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, we've heard him before, who was over the household, Shebna the scribe, and Joah, the son of Asaph, the recorder, came out to him. Now, you kind of get the impression that there may be an overlap here from this to Jeremiah, and there very well may be. Then, let's see, came out to him. Then the Rabshakeh said to them, "Say now to Hezekiah, thus says the great king, the king of Assyria." And the Rabshakeh is a group of military men, basically. They're a group of fighters or message deliverers. This thus says the great king, the king of Assyria, what confidence is this in which you trust? I say you speak of having plans and power for war, but they are mere words. Now in whom do you trust, that you rebel against me? Look, you are trusting in the staff of this broken reed, Egypt, on which if a man leans, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh king of Egypt to all who trust in him. But if you say to me, we trust in the Lord our God, is it not he whose high places and whose altars Hezekiah has taken away, and said to Judah and Jerusalem, you shall worship before this altar? So he's kind of trying to indicate what's going on here, guys. I see this, but, who are you showing allegiance to? And it's interesting that it's the king of Assyria asking. Verse 8, now therefore I urge you, give a pledge to my master, the king of Assyria, and I will give you 2,000 horses, if you are able, on your part, to put riders on them. He wants to help their fight. Verse 9, how then will you repel one captain of the least of my master's servants, and put your trust in Egypt for chariots and horsemen? Now we remember that this is in Jeremiah also. So you kind of start to see maybe a connection between the two. Verse 10, have I now come up without the Lord against the land to destroy it? The Lord said to me, go up against this land and destroy it. Then Eliakim, Shebna, and Joah said to the Rabshakeh, please speak to your servants in Aramaic, for we understand it. And do not speak to us in Hebrew, in the hearing of the people who are on the wall. But the Rabshakeh said, has my master sent me to your master, and to you to speak these words, and not to the men who sit on the wall, who will eat and drink their own waste with you? Pretty inflammatory speech there. We have a slang term that we use today to refer to the exact same thing. Verse 13, then the Rabshakeh stood and called out with a loud voice in Hebrew and said, hear the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Boy, he better be glad he didn't catch an arrow for that. Because in a lot of cases back then, that's what would happen. Thus says the king, verse 14, do not let Hezekiah deceive you, for he will not be able to deliver you. Nor let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord, saying, the Lord will surely deliver us. This city will not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Do not listen to Hezekiah, for thus says the king of Assyria, make peace with me by a present, and come out to me, and every one of you eat from his own vine, and every one from his own fig tree, and every one of you drink the waters from his own cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards. So interesting that he chose those words to speak to them, because that is the same thing that the Lord said to us. I'm going to and to them, I'm going to take you to a land like your own, grain, new wine, bread, and vineyards. Amazing. The whole thing about making peace with me. The whole thing about eating from your own vine, from your own fig tree, and drinking from your own cistern. That's all speech repeated in multiple books in the Bible, referring to end times. Verse 18, beware lest Hezekiah persuade you, saying the Lord will deliver us. Has any one of the gods of the nations delivered its land from the hand of the king of Assyria? I think we're about to see something really interesting here. This may be a hint towards the Antichrist. Where, verse 19, are the gods of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim? Indeed, have they delivered Samaria from my hand? Who among all the gods of these lands have delivered their countries from my hand, that the Lord should deliver Jerusalem from my hand? But they held their peace and answered him not a word, for the king's commandment was, do not answer him. Then, verse 22, Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, who was over the household, Shebna the scribe, and Joah the son of Asaph the recorder came to Hezekiah with their clothes torn and told him the words of Rabshakeh. This is what this sounds like to me. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it. What it sounds like to me is it sounds like it basically, if you look at it from the typology, it's a delegation to make an agreement with multiple nations from the Antichrist. And he wants, hey, make an agreement with us here. I'll make this all go away, and I'll protect you guys, and I'll watch over you, and y'all will have everything you want. You'll be watched over, and you'll have all what you need, and you won't lack for anything. That sounds to me like that's the same thing the Antichrist is going to tell them when the time comes. Is this not a picture? This very well could be a picture of it, a shadow of it. This event here happening to them back then may be a shadow of what's going to happen in the future. Oh, you got problems with these people? You got problems with these people? And right now Israel does. I can make all that go away if you make an agreement with me. And my agreement is going to be with all of them at the same time. Look, I'm more powerful than they are. Boom. There's your guy. But you talk about jump off the page. He's sitting here talking. It's like, oh, wait, we're reading this thousands and thousands of years later. We're like, wait, dude, that's incredible, because that's what the next guy's going to say. And they referred to him as the Assyrian. Again, probably not from Assyria, probably of Assyrian descent. In this day and age, Satan's trying to hide all that stuff, because there's way too many Christians out here who would dime him out in a heartbeat as soon as they see stuff. Again, if you haven't seen my community tab post of a certain individual that got popped back up in the news all of a sudden, and what he's particularly involved in, for them to call him back out into the news, it should be an eye-opener for you, because I was told, whenever everything changed in 2020, I was told, oh, well, I guess your theory is wrong. We'll see. And that's what I told him. We'll see. I'm not saying I'm right, but there's a whole lot more that points to that guy than there does anybody else. And I could care less, because I'm watching for somebody greater. I'm watching for my Lord. But the fact remains, there's a whole lot of arrows pointing to one particular person on this earth. And it is not Obama, and it is not Trump. But for this guy to stand here and speak this and tell them this, it's like, wait, that's what he's going to tell them in the end. Hey, y'all, I got all the answers. I'll make it all go away. You come to me, I'll deal with it. They can't take me. I'm stronger than they are. I have more power than they do. We're going to make it all better. Okay. So that was Isaiah 36. That changed the tone really quick. So tomorrow will be Isaiah 37. Isaiah assures deliverance. Well, this ought to be good. I already, just not even reading it, I can already get a sense that there's going to be some stuff referencing sneaking away and hiding. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. So we had a lot of good stuff up to this point, but I think now we've kind of really gotten into the meat, potatoes, and gravy of the situation. And again, it's going to be more stuff that's going to cause us to start to think ahead. And like, if I could do this on my laptop, I could show you guys more of this stuff. We could dig into it. You know, each video would be like an hour or two long, easily, because there's so much more here. But you guys can do your own research on that. Read it and look at what the words jump out at you, and do search on those words and find out what other verses link to that. If you have eSword or whatever, it'll show you other verses that link to that and cause you to go down and look elsewhere. But it really opened your eyes to more of what's going on here. And again, the book of Isaiah was one of the most quoted books in the New Testament. And so it gives us a lot more insights. And Jesus himself said, "You have Moses and the prophets, hear ye them." So there's more there. It's just up to us to go find it. So anyway, that was Isaiah 36. Yeah, now we're turning a corner in this story. And I think there's going to be a whole lot more come out of this, because we just passed the halfway point. We still got a ways to go. So there's a lot more to be said. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.